I'm 48. I don't really care anymore. I just care that I'm a good person. I'm trying to do the right thing. Right? But yeah, I was violent. Pop off guns, and all kinds of stuff. I don't really care to talk about.
Yeah, no, we don't have to.
Everything. But you know, yeah, I've been quite the violent person, and then throughout my life. Right? You got to understand that I haven't really changed much. Truly, for a really good path to walk until recently. You know what I mean?
How recent is recent?
About 3 years, I guess. 3 years, but more clear now because now I'm drug free, and it hasn't been long. It's only been 6 months.
Oh, it's only 6 months.
Yeah. But 19 years before that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 6 months is like I hate even saying it, you know what I mean? But it benefits me now because it's not a struggle for me. I know what it's like to live drug-free. And now I know what it's like to be a drug addict. I don't like being a drug addict. You know what I mean? The only difference is now is that I don't like being a drug addict and I don't like being a criminal. That's the change. That's the important part. Because, you know, just because you live a drug-free life doesn't mean that you're going to leave a crime-free life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And for most, you know, they can be, they can do quite well, you know, for a short period of time or maybe a period of time. But definitely, you know, if you're going to be a criminal, you don't want to be a drug addict. I don't think you can be a successful at anything being a drug addict. So, yeah.
So, let's get back to the love thing.
Okay.
What does the word love mean to you?
Well, you know, we hear it in and throughout our lives that you got to learn to love yourself before you can love somebody else. You know, I've heard that all the days of my life. And I love myself. I mean, look, I'm hooked. I'm good looking. Look, you see, you know, and but I mean, that's not love at all, right? You know, that's just a shallow persona of love, we'll say. But I think when you truly do learn yourself, I mean, after all, it is the goal for me to master myself, because as I master myself, the more I master myself, the more I can understand you, the more I can understand him, my partners in life, my parents, my children, because we're basically all the same in a sense, you know. I mean, like, our thoughts and ideas are different, our anatomies are different, but we still hurt, we're happy, we're sad, we're angry, we're desperate, you know, we're addicts, we're drug-free, we're crime-free, we're Christians, we're assholes. So in mastering and learning about myself, I've been able to see you clearer, right? And I can relate, and I can only go by my own experiences. I don't like to be hurt. I like to be loved. I like to be liked. I like to be happy. I like to be successful. I like to be comfortable. And I'm pretty sure that most of the other people around me like those same things. I know what it's like to be an asshole. I know what it's like to be treated like an asshole. I know what it's like to hurt somebody. I know what it's like to be hurt. And having that experience and understanding these things, you know, it promotes love. For me, anyways, it promotes love. And it doesn't hurt to believe in our Father, you know, or God, whatever you want to call him, right? I call him my Father. So. And, you know, reading the Bible, studying that, looking for answers. You can't go through life not looking for answers. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just a waste of a life, you know. I'm not saying that I know all the answers to life,
But you know,
but
yours.
yeah, and I'm sure that there's people, you know, I've heard somebody say there's nothing that we do on this planet that hasn't been done before, you know what I mean? More or less, you know. So I'd rather be a kind, loving person than a mean, hurting, asshole, bastard. whatever you want to call it, right? Drug dealer. But I mean, you can talk about love all day, right? I mean, but I truly, if you're living a good life, you can love yourself. It's not an easy task. It hasn't been an easy task for me.
Why?
Well, because I haven't always been a loving kind of guy. You know, there's a why? Because I didn't care.
Why?
Sound like a
no. Let's get deeper. You know what I mean?
why? Selfishness.
Really?
Yeah, selfishness is a big one. Because it's me. You know, I mean, who cares about you? It's about me. It's not a you day. It's a me day. You know, and I want to be rich, and I don't care who I step on to get there. You know what I mean? I don't care who I hurt to get there, because nobody's more important than me. You know what I mean? And even if that may be true, that doesn't mean that if you understand it, that there's nobody more important than you, yourself, or me, myself. It makes you that much more loving. But if you got a twisted way of looking at that, then you're stomping on other people you don't care. And, yeah. And there's consequences for that. It's going to turn around. Karma. Reaping what you sow, karma, those things are real.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? They truly are. So that helps me stay focused for the future. You know what I mean?
What's next for the future for you? What's the next phase in your life?
Being unselfish. You know, I have a young 15-month-old son.
Don't even talk about your kids, just in case. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to put anything
Okay, well,
there
just
for anybody to.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I don't think I have any enemies. I mean, who knows, right?
You know what I'm saying?
But I understand what you're saying. Well, the whole center of it is not being selfish anymore. I've been selfish all my life. You know what I mean? I really have.
Really?
Yeah. I've been a selfish man, and you know, and from what I've learned, and for what I want to grow into, being a better person, I've learned that you have to be unselfish. You know what I mean? Where you drop yourself and think about other people, and help other people, and support other people, and build other people. You know what I mean? I spent a lifetime of beating people up, gunfights, and poisoning people with drugs. You know what I mean? It's been a lifetime doing that. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to make a change somewhere around, you know? I mean, I don't think I'll ever stop what's going on in the world, but I don't have to contribute to it anymore, you know what I mean? And that's love.
So your next phase?
My next
Phase in life?
is to, I hate to say it, work. I don't know. I mean, you know, somebody said something to me a long time ago. They use this phrase, "Let go, let God," and I try to live with that. And so far, that works for me. You know what I mean? I don't really. I mean, I've got a framework of what I want to see happen in the future. You know, support myself in a crime-free manner. You know what I mean? And be a loving man, be a supporting man, be involved in a community. You know, without getting into detail, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know what I mean? I want to be an asset to the community, not a detriment. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think that's basically it. Can't crack you.
Where I'm going now, and you know, I'm inside my mind. I'm trying to fight it. I don't want to sit here and talk to you about God and all my beliefs in that, because it turns into a spiritual sermon.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What do you want to talk about then?
It's not so much what I want to talk. Well, like, maybe it is. It's
Yeah.
more about the things that happen in that lifestyle.
Yes.
Being shot,
Yes.
being stabbed, almost losing your life.
Okay, let's
to you know, having all the riches in life.
Yes.
And thinking that, you know, it's a cost-benefit analysis, like 4 years in the pen, And I get out of the pen and I say, okay, well, I got $1 million house, I got a Caddy EXT, I got a Harley Davidson, you know, okay, it was worth it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I get shot and stabbed and become a drug addict, and it's all gone. So now I've done 4 years in vain. I'm a drug addict, laying on the bottom, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I can't believe it. Like,
Well,
I'm looking at you, right? And I see you, okay, as that person that came to my place in on
72nd and by Scott there.
Yeah, and my mom was there, and I said, "Hey, this is my friend Roy." And it was real. She was real.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well, you were a real friend.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But the person that I like, for you to tell me, you know,
What was coming down the pipe?
well, not even that, but where you are now, I just can't see it because we're very much alike.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we really are. You're more than I am, right? More violent, more. You've seen more of that life than me, but we're very like this,
Yeah.
right? And I'm just like, wow, I just can't believe that. I can't believe it.
Well,
But that's neither here nor there.
yeah.
That's just for you, right?
Okay.
So tell me about what's it like. You know, what was it like coming up? Like, what were some of the things you had to do? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Give me the story, right?
The story, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when I came out to BC, I had all the plans of doing it right,
Okay.
and not being in a criminal life, and of course not being involved in drugs, and I did that for a short period of time. I had met a girl one night, and she wanted drugs, and so I said, "Listen, I've got a little bit of money, but I need it for my rent. You know, I'll hook you up."
Yeah.
So it turned out that she couldn't pay for the drugs, and so I wasn't about to give them to her and not be able to pay my rent. So she said, "Well, you know what? Fuck you. Keep the dope," and left. So here I am, not using drugs, with the dope, and I got no money for rent. So what do? I resort to what I know, and I go down in New West, the Hostro down there. Well, I go down to the Hostro down there, and I know how that works. I know how that system works. You know, they get in the car, they do a trick, they come back, they're looking for dope, and I was going to be the man that's standing there to sell it to them. And it started like that. So I had this 8-ball, you know, 3.5 grams, and that I paid, I think, $150 for at the time, and end up getting $1,100 because I didn't weigh it out or anything. I just flapped it all up and put it out. I made $1,100. I made $900 more.
Profit, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I like this. This works. And boom, you know, I went from there. Now, the funny thing is that I had friends that were all involved in the drug game, but we had never discussed that. I never really talked to them. We'd go to meet at bars and we'd party, and you know, but we never got into any in-depth conversation. So when I finally did go to my friend and said, "Hey, listen, do you know where I can get any of this stuff?" And he puts his arm around me, looks at me, says, "Don't you know who I am?" And I'm like, "I guess not, right?" Bam, here's a brick. So now I'm saying, well, I don't know how to, I can't get, don't worry, you will, you'll get rid of it. And so it went from there, you know, and I was highly motivated at the time because from how I understand it now is that my addiction, I mean, I quit drugs earlier in life, like I said, but my addiction seemed to switch right then and there to money. You know what I mean? And I was a big addict for money because I had no skills on spending money, but I knew how to make that shit real good. You know what I mean? Real well. And so, you know, I spent all my time chasing that, motivated and, you know, on time and independently. I wasn't a part of any group. So anyways, that just it blew up so quick, so quick. And all of a sudden, I had more money than I ever had in my life. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm only talking like maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. Like, to me, that was a lot of money because I had a hard time making $100, $200 or paychecks of $600, you know, every 2 weeks to having G-notes flying. You know what I mean? So I mean, with that, all of a sudden, I'm the man. I'm cool, and you know, I can have anything I want. I can do anything I want. Women are all over the place. You know what I mean? And life gets good. You know, it's anybody that says money don't make you happy. Well,
It doesn't. It fills a hole.
I don't know. It made me pretty happy, and it would make me happy now if I had some too, right? But I guess it depends on how you're making it. But anyways, it made me pretty happy at the time, and you know, so I blew up real fast, and next thing you know, I'm buying a condo, and kind of when I met you, when I shortly after I bought the condo and stuff like that. So now I'm feeling like I'm the man, and I'm doing okay, and people are seeing that. You know, they're saying, hey, this guy's doing okay. He's got a nice place. He's got money. He's got this and this and that. Now I'm slowly becoming a target. You know what I mean? And so I have my first experiences with friends turning on me and trying to rob me. You know what I mean? We won't mention any names.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, there's been plenty of people. And so after that, you know, security got tighter. It didn't deter me because I never got hurt. You know what I mean? I see myself invincible, untouchable. You know what I mean? And so I just continued to grow. You know, and took the hits that I took. You know, okay, I lost 40 grand here, or I lost 20 grand here. Comes with the territory. You know.
Big hits like that.
Yeah. You know, well, they're not big hits to me. I mean, you know what I mean? But I mean, they're still large. Yeah.
Something you missed.
So you know, to make a long story short, I mean, I climb up and I'm doing well. So now I've got close to $1 million home. You know what I mean? I've got caddy with Lambo doors on it. I've got the Harley with, you know, custom Harley, all the toys. Problem is now I'm getting shot. Now I'm getting stabbed. You know what I mean? And not only is the bad guys coming, I've got police on me too. So, I mean, the one incident that brings things to a closure almost for me is that I have a guy that works for me, or had been working for me for multiple years, decides he wants to turn on me, comes to my house with a gun, him and his friend. You know, I get smacked in the head, pistol whipped with a gun, and you know, I take it off this guy, I beat his head in, but the other guy stabs me in the back 3 times, punctures my lung. So for 6 ounces these guys get. You know what I mean? But I had 3 keys in the house. So who knows? I mean, I still don't know to this day. I could have been set up. I don't know what happened, right? Maybe they knew about that, but anyways, they ended up leaving the house. So now I'm laying on the floor in this new house, looking up the ceiling saying, God, don't let me die. I just bought this house. At least let me live here for a little bit. You know what I mean? And the police came. I'm laying on the floor. Now this really kills me. The police come. I know I got these bricks in the house. And I say, get out of the house. I don't want you here. I called an ambulance because I managed to call 911 for myself. And they said, well, we're not leaving the house till you leave, talking to me on the floor in my pool of my blood. And I says, well, I'm not leaving until you guys leave. And so the one cop looks at me and says, well, I guess we're going to watch you die. I didn't even know what to say to that. I just kind of looked at him funny and laid on the floor and felt myself slipping away. I was pretty confident that I was going to die that day because there was no ambulance coming, nothing was coming. And it seemed like the police were just having a good old conversation about Mr. McCormick laying on the floor there, a known drug dealer. You know what I mean? Makes you think a little bit.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. So, you know, and then the ambulance eventually took me, and then they did a search of the house, and they found three bricks of cocaine. So, you know, that started a bit of a fall for me, because that's kind of when I started getting into drugs and started not caring. You know, I mean, I just got out of the pen for a couple of bricks of coke. So now they got 3 more, and I'm charged with trafficking. I'm looking at like 10, 15 years now, you know what I mean? So I don't care. So I'm starting to get involved in drugs, and, you know, things are changing. But eventually I end up beating that charge. But I remember as soon as the judge said to me, it was an illegal search, case dismissed. I remember self-awareness sweep over me, and I realized just how fucked up I was. I realized that how lost I was inside with drugs and what I had been doing to myself, and I kind of just was lost. I was expecting to go to jail, I think, you know what I mean? And it didn't happen. And everything just went kind of downhill from there, you know? I had become an addict, and started selling my stuff, selling my belongings, robbing this, robbing that. Just completely lost. Nobody wanted to deal with me anymore because they seen that I'm a drug addict. You know what I mean? All that trust is gone. I'm getting robbed by people that have lost respect for me because they, you know, because that's the way you're looked at when you do drugs. You're a head, you're a crackhead, you're a junkie. You know? And so that's it in a nutshell. You know? From hero to zero real quick, you know.